Welcome to Talk Music with Will Dorsey Jr. Every week, our host Will is going to interview musicians from around the world and talk everything music. Our listeners range from professionals to recreational musicians who want to learn more about the industry, their instruments, and the community of top musicians. So join us, subscribe, and keep up with Talk Music. And now, live from his studio upon the mountaintops of Southern California, here's Ill Will himself, Will Dorsey Jr.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, eRecordStudio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their e-record sessions on social media. Visit ERS on eRecordStudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
All right. Our next guest on Talk Music Podcast is a friend of mine named Josh Paul. He's been in Suicidal, Everlast, and Daughtry. Everybody, welcome. Josh Paul. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for coming up on the show.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you tell people, about you and yourself and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Josh Paul. I'm a bass player. As you mentioned, I got kids. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Yeah. Family is everything. I love music. I love coffee.
Yeah.
And, just out here doing the thing.
That's cool, man. Can you let people know what you've been working on and
if you're not familiar with some of my history, I'm a bass player and I've been pretty fortunate to have played with some really cool bands, including Suicidal Tendencies, Infectious Grooves, Everlast, and the band Daughtry.
Yeah.
Among, a bunch of others. I'm working on a few new things that'll be coming up, and I'm just thankful to stay busy.
Man. Can you go into a little bit of the details of, like you being in, in Suicidal and Infectious Grooves and and Everlast too, right?
I did a tour with Everlast. Yeah.
How was that like?
It was really that was a good time. The band was pretty big on that run. So being able to play with, some really great percussion and great musicians and his songs are hits. You hear them all over the place and they're kind of legendary. So you get out there and it was a lot of fun to do. I got to go off a little bit and do some solo stuff on there and it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, okay. Now, who's this are you referring to?
That was with Everlast.
Everlast, okay.
Yeah, so that run was cool. It was a very musical experience. It was cool. Now with Suicidal, man, I joined that band when I was a teenager, replacing Robert Trujillo. So those were some pretty huge shoes to fill.
Dude, but you could do that though, man. Man, if anybody sees you, I'm telling people that this dude's amazing bass player.
Man, I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
But that's really where I cut my teeth and learned so much about not only music and performance and playing and songwriting and tour life, but just life in general. So I'm grateful for all the time that I've spent in that band. I mean, as far as drummers go, Brooks Wackerman was in the band when I was in the band.
Oh,
so
man. You serious?
So we were a pretty tight rhythm section. It was good together. And then man, it was great. it was great to get out there and play all those lines, and then write and play on records as well. It was killer. Yeah.
Man, you played with Brooks Wackerman.
Yeah, man. For years. Yeah.
Dude,
Brooks is monstrous.
Yeah. Man, that's sick, man. That's so sick. So what about for Daughtry?
For Daughtry, I joined the band with pretty much at the very beginning. So I was in the band for 15 years.
Yeah.
And left about a year and a half ago. And doing that gig was really cool because it was a different approach from what I was used to, like in Suicidal as a bass player, where you're kind of like a lead instrument, you know what I mean? Just going off and going wild.
Yeah.
And then going over to something like Daughtry, where it's, you know, on the pop rock end. So it's the role of the bass in a project like that is foundational.
Yeah.
Which is cool, you know what I mean? And it taught me a lot about being a musician as well, and being sort of well versed in letting myself know that I can pretty much slide in there and do, you know, what I need to do as a bass player in a lot of different atmospheres.
Right.
Situations.
Man, I mean, was that a hard switch to do for yourself, or you know?
I don't think so. I think I was able to put some of my voice into all of those lines as well, and I played on all those records too. So
man.
I made those my own.
Okay.
But Chris and the band, and they were very open to just allowing me to do my thing a lot of the times. And I, for the most part, I tried to stay, you know, stay within the lines, if you will.
Right.
On performance.
So like it's not over, that song.
Okay, so the first record,
yeah,
the band didn't play on. They were all those killer studio dudes like Josh Freese and Phil X and Paul Bushnell.
Yeah.
So, but we toured off that record, and then we recorded the rest of them.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I like a lot of those songs, man. They're good songs, man. You know.
Yeah. And then the new one they did, this last one they did is pretty heavy. So
really.
Yeah, I appreciate that they have gone, and Chris has wanted to go a little heavier, because he's always been a rock dude.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So it's very cool.
Why not go heavier?
Yeah.
You know?
Hey man, do what you feel. That's what I say. Yeah.
If you're feeling it, then just do it, you know?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Let me get into like between all of those, you know, those different bands like that. I mean, like, you know, Suicidal is like, you know, insane shows, you know, like
high energy. Yeah.
Yeah, very high energy shows. And, you know, from going from Everlast to Suicidal, and then Daughtry, and going into the audience way. How'd you feel like feeling that energy from the audience to you?
How do you mean? Like
meaning like, you know, like I know, you know, Everlast was a different audience.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Suicidal is definitely a different audience to you.
Right.
Like I know there might be some nights that you might, you know, feel tired, or you just don't have the energy, but you get that, you know, that energy from the audience, you know, like make it through the show.
I think, and this is not always the case, because it depends on what the gig is or what the you know, the environment is. But I think, and this is just in my personal experience, I don't know, you may have another one, but if you put in your all,
yeah,
and you throw that energy out there, the majority of the time it's going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, you'll feel it.
Right.
And if you're able to put that out there, you're going to get it back.
Right. Nice.
The energy is a different, it's a different vibe at a Suicidal show than at a Daughtry show, for sure.
You're right.
You know, the audience is just different demographic, but music is music, man.
Right.
You put it out there and it's grooving and people are bobbing their heads. What more you ask for?
Right. Man, okay, I'm gonna get you on something, man. Did you ever get any slack or anybody say something to you about, like, you're in Suicidal and then you went to Daughtry? Did you get any slack for that?
Oh yeah, man. I got some of my friends from the old days are like, "What are you doing, man?" But here's the thing. Like I just said, music is music.
Yeah.
And I've been living, supporting my family as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And what more do you ask for in that?
Yeah.
So all these doors, whether it not be one path, there's a door that might open over here to the right that you didn't think that you were going to be taking that path, but it opened and it worked out and it felt right. So you take that path. We're all on a journey, man.
Yeah.
I
got some of that slack when, of course, like in a heavier band, let's say early 90s or whatever. And then I decided to go to a regular rock band, and did that for years. But I got slack from a bunch of my friends that were, of course, into the hardcore stuff, like, man, what are you doing? It's like, man, I'm just trying to, like you said, trying to support your family.
Yeah. Well, also it's okay to grow, to be a versatile musician. It really is.
It is.
Okay. I grew up listening to everything.
Right.
From R&B to some country stuff to jazz to, like hip hop. So I'm happy to have those opportunities to play that stuff and to appreciate that stuff and to learn that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I want to get dive into, like, you're just saying about the R&B. What made you get into R&B?
I always was just drawn to it. Even as a little tiny kid, the stuff that was on the radio.
Yeah.
Like that's what I loved. That's what I listened to.
Mm-hmm.
And then the old soul stuff, like the funk stuff, is one and the same, as trends change and things, but it's still, the basis is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
So like I got to take a few lessons from Louis Johnson.
Okay.
Bass player from Brothers Johnson.
Woo, man, really?
When I was a little kid, and I learned a lot from him. I learned that you can be funky and ferocious at the same time.
Yeah.
And now looking back and seeing the videos of him playing and then thinking about our few times together and the stuff that he showed me, I was like, yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
But but going back to things that draw me to R&B, or I love rhythm.
Yeah.
And I love melody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. What about the country thing?
Well, the country, my exposure to country comes from my family. Right. My grandfather and my mom, and I like, the old school country stuff. There's some, like I said, man, music is music.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in Nashville for about 7 years, so I was in the hub of all that stuff. And it was cool to see how they do things. Man, you go in a session for a country thing, and it's like, all right, one take, boom, there you go. Like,
whoa,
like,
okay,
right.
Okay.
Oh wait, are you sure that was okay? No, and these guys, that's what they do all day long.
Right.
They're just doing these tracks and doing these sessions. Like, wow, it's impressive. I'm so used to like getting in and vibing. Oh, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try it. All right, try it this way. Nope. But yeah, man, R&B. I love early 80s R&B.
Like who? Start naming some artists, man.
Like, let's see. Pretty Poison. I love, let's see. I actually have a list here. Hang on a second.
Okay, cool.
Prince, I love. all that early Michael Jackson stuff.
There you go. Yes.
New Edition. I like New Edition.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, man. Come
yeah,
on.
man.
So do you like those bass lines, off those albums too?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Man,
I mean, it's driving everything. And so I love lines that are parts.
Right.
That you can remember. You know what I'm saying? It's like a line that you can remember. And I feel the same way about drums too. Like Dave Grohl will come up with something and that's a part. That's something you actually want to sing, or air drum. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Like that's as much of a part as the melody in a hook.
Right.
So
man, can you tell people that you were also a drummer as well?
I used to be a drummer when I was a little kid. I started playing drums, and I think that's actually helped me with my bass playing, having that foundation. But yeah,
how old were you when you were drumming?
Oh, I was young, man, very young. I started. My grandfather played every musician or every instrument. Me, pretty much out there and available to him. So when I was a little kid, he bought me a drum set. And we started jamming on Dixieland music. I got to play with his band a few times. And I played my first gig when I was 5 years old with him. Yeah. So thank you to all his boys for allowing some little kid to get out there and bang right. Crash on some cymbals. But
nice, man.
I really appreciate all of that time. But I was a little kid when I was playing drums, and I can still play. I'll get behind the kit every now and then. And
nice.
Yeah.
do you miss it a little bit, or you
I think I get my fix on the bass because I do try to play drums on the bass.
Dude, yeah. No, I can see that. It's very percussive, like what you're doing, man. People check out his Instagram, man. Face and all, man. You get into it, man. I love it, man. He's like, man,
bass face. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's funny because I'll look back at some of those videos and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing, man?
Dude, no,
cut off my face, man.
Come on, man. Those are great faces.
Thank you, bro.
Come on, man. It's like, man, this dude's in it. I love that.
I appreciate it.
Man, okay. I keep on jumping back about your R&B style.
Yeah.
So because the song just popped in my head, from New Edition, Can You Stand the Rain?
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Did you really enjoy that bass line, in knowing where he was going with that bass line?
Well, I think for me that song in particular is the mood. You know what I'm saying? It all works together. Like Human Nature by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of feeling that you get listening to those progressions and chord changes, and everything just works together so beautifully. I can remember being, I don't know how old I was. I was young, but sitting on my bed, looking at the ceiling, listening to that song, just all the feelings coming out, even as a little kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is it. Same with Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that song is good too.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Those changes.
I'm glad you're R&B dude too, man. That's sick, man.
I would say, I think if I didn't enjoy that music and at least have heard a lot of it and really taken a moment to listen to that throughout my life, I wouldn't play the same way.
Yeah.
Because you're what you're influenced by is what you're putting into your ear holes and your your head.
That gave you your chops.
It really did. It really did. Even with Suicidal, having that sort of R&B and funk thing in my background
Yeah.
helped me with that, even though it's not anything the same music. But if you listen to Suicidal stuff and Infectious stuff, it's funky.
It is. It is.
You know.
You know. But this leads me to my next question. Your slap technique.
What about it?
I'm sorry, bro.
I was waiting for it. Like,
right. I'm just, like, what made you get into more slap bass, like what you do, man? It's like part of being percussive as well, or that's what you wanted.
Yeah, I think it just came kind of naturally, I guess, coming from drums, maybe.
Yeah.
And also when I was learning as a little kid, sitting, I couldn't play any drums anymore.
Right.
So we moved into an apartment, so drums was out of the question. So what I did, my mom got me a bass, and my sister, I have a twin sister who's a singer. So she got a karaoke machine.
Right.
So when she wasn't singing in the karaoke machine, or when we weren't jamming together, I would plug the bass into the little karaoke machine and play along the tapes and stuff. But when I was playing just solo, just by myself, I had to formulate and come up with rhythms because I was just playing bass by myself. So I think that kind of started off, my attraction to the slap stuff. And then, hanging out with Louis Johnson, loving funk, so it all kind of worked together.
Right.
And then Flea was a big influence for me too. So.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
Were you ever into like Fishbone or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Okay. I saw Fishbone so many times.
Right.
I know Norwood, he's awesome.
Dude.
But growing up in LA,
yeah,
I was able to see Fishbone so many times. I think I was in high school, maybe my first year of high school.
Right.
And I had a band and we played around, and basically I wanted to be Fishbone. I had a horn section. I had a percussionist. Yeah.
Oh man, were you doing a bone in a boneyard, or what is that song? What is that?
Oh, what is that song?
It's like he said, funky ass bass on the song, and it was just slapping through the middle of the song. I know
what you're talking about. I don't remember the title, but it was an original band and we were playing our own songs and I was writing all these parts and stuff. But actually, that's where Brooks had a band as well before he was in Infectious and Suicidal. And we would play some of the same shows, our bands in high school. And then and he's the one who actually got me into Suicidal, who recommended when Robert had left.
Right.
He called me. So
wow.
Big circle, man.
Man, that's huge. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
At what point did you feel like since you've been in all these bands, like that you made it?
Well, the funny thing is, like, you look back at the things you've done, and obviously I'm so grateful for all of it and every single experience. But in my heart, I still feel like I have things I want to do and accomplish, and learn. So as grateful and thankful as I am for the stuff that I've been able to do, I still, like, in my head, I may be crazy, but I still have a shitload of things I still want to do.
Like what kind of stuff you want to do, man?
I want to put out a solo record. I want to put together, well, I'm in the process of putting together and working on 2 different projects. And I want to tour with my own thing.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to put out, I shouldn't say I haven't been able to. I said I haven't. I mean, I haven't put out my own record yet. You know what I mean? Something to call your own.
Yeah.
because I've been working with all these awesome different artists and touring and being a side guy and doing all these other things, but I haven't had a chance to actually make something my own from inception.
Yeah.
Going forward. So that's one thing I definitely want to do.
Okay. Okay. Man, that's great, man. That's cool. That's cool. Did you like during all that time, between all those bands, did you ever take a break between,
oh yeah,
you know, like,
yeah,
like
I took I had a few little tragedies happening, in my life that gave me a much needed I guess break is the right word to say. But yeah, in between all the stuff, if you don't take a break or if you don't sort of reevaluate different situations, then that could be detrimental to your health.
Yeah. No, it could be, that's for real right there,
Yeah.
Did you ever like like took a long enough break where like you weren't playing for months?
I think the longest break, this is the longest break that I've had not being on tour. So this has been a year and a half, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've been touring almost nonstop since I was a teenager.
Damn.
So, but this is the longest break I've had, and I am starting to get the itch. I need to get back. I really want to get back out there, man.
Right.
I need to get back out. So we'll see what happens. But this is the longest break I've been on.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, eRecordStudio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their e-record sessions on social media. Visit ERS on eRecordStudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Yeah, like, were you an MD?
I have, and indeed, a few different projects and different things. I think being able to play a few different instruments and understanding or having whatever an understanding of music and I've always been kind of good at putting things together and kind of producing things. So it was a natural fit for me to do that. And then, start having my own bands as a teenager where I'm doing everything. It was a great foundation for that too. So yeah, I've done some MD stuff. I think I'd be interested in doing some more of that actually.
Right.
Now that you mention it.
Right. And so you're going to be doing that with your own project, right?
Yeah. I mean, the way I like to work, man, is the people that I surround myself and the people that I work with. I'm hoping I want to hear their voice too,
Yeah.
So in that way, I appreciate people's creativity, and I want to make sure that whoever I'm working with, they're bringing themselves to the table,
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, then I might as well do a record and play everything,
right?
But I like to hear, because you never know what can pop up. I would have never thought of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and energy is a big thing too. Like, I like to feel and bounce ideas and work off each other.
Did you get to do that with Suicidal or Daughtry?
Definitely. Suicidal, I was so young and I was learning the ropes and but I did get in there and I was able to get creative, and there was a lot of sort of jam vibes always,
Oh, right. Okay.
We were able to take a lot of those classic songs and make them our own. Yeah. Especially on tour for so many years, It's just like tearing them up. It was awesome. And actually, Mike Muir and I have been working on some things for the last like year and a half, 2 years.
Oh man.
So being able to create with him after all these years has been a blessing. It's really cool.
Oh man. I can't wait for that, man. Like you guys have a like when that's going to be coming out, or
to be determined, but it's
okay.
it's in the works. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice, man. Has any of the songs that you have worked on, has any of that stuff been like on the radio or popular?
Yeah. Especially with the Daughtry stuff, because that band, Chris blew up after American Idol. Like that first record, I think it was like 7 times platinum or something, 9 times platinum or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's unbelievable. So the those other records that we did, I mean, it was on top 40 radio, and you get in the car, you go in the grocery store, and you hear it, like, oh damn, that's me. That's me up there, which is kind of crazy.
Can you name some of these songs that so people could check them out? And
I mean, one of my favorites as far as bass performance goes is a song called September by Daughtry.
Okay.
And there's a really it's funny, there's a really cool little run at the top of it that I thought the producer was going to cut out because I was just fucking around, but it ended up staying in there. So that's really cool. But that's a beautiful song. And let's see, Over You, which, man, I haven't. There's so many so many of those records,
right?
But yeah, no, check out September. That was a good one.
Okay.
And but it's a trip to get in the car with your family or watch something on TV, and like my kids would be like, "Hey, that's Dad."
Right.
It's funny, man. Funny. Especially me, some jackass kid from LA or from Venice.
Oh man,
just trying to do whatever I can do growing up, and picked up a bass and on the journey.
Dude, that's sick. That's sick, man. Oh man. Did you get to write any like lyrics or anything like that, or
for Daughtry
or any of the bands?
Yeah, no. I mean, I've written some of my own stuff, lyrics for some of my own stuff. There's a song I did write a few things for Daughtry that were on a few of the records that got placed, which is really cool. I wrote a few things with Suicidal back in the day, and have written co-writes with some different people. Recently, actually, a song that I worked on years ago, I guess a K-pop artist cut it.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So I just found that out. So that's kind of cool. You do something like years and years later, like it pops up. You're like, oh wow, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, for a K-pop, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
Man, let's get into like your whole setup, like for your bass. Like what kind of bass are you using? Are you using a 4 or 5 or?
I use both. I play Music Man basses, Stingray specials. And I prefer the HH, which is the 2 humbuckers.
Okay.
And 4 and 5.
Right.
And those basses just there's a punch that comes from those basses that you don't really get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And when I pick up those basses, I just want to punch somebody in the throat. So it's awesome.
Oh man.
No, I also use the Music Man Daughtry too, which I did a bunch of the videos for them.
Okay.
The promo videos for the bass.
Right.
I premiered it with them, and that bass is really cool. It has an overdrive and a distortion built into the bass, made
Oh,
by a dark glass preamp, which is really cool.
really?
So like on a lot of my videos on Instagram or whatever that I do,
Yeah.
that bass is up there quite a bit with just some nasty ass growly tone.
I heard him. Oh, I thought that you were using like, I don't know if you do you use like a Kemper or anything like that, or
I'll use depending on what it is. I use the Neural DSP
oh,
and
okay.
the dark glass plug-in on there a lot.
Yeah,
And
man,
yeah, so
dude.
but amp wise, I use Galen Kruger.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, man, great amps.
yeah.
You can't go
No,
wrong with those,
no, punchy, loud. They kill.
right?
So and yeah, man. But the dark ray bass is really cool. It's very cool. I dig it.
Man, do you have a like a studio setup at your place, or?
Yeah, I mean I just use laptop, and I don't have like a bunch of outboard gear. Everything that I do, I'm pretty much doing in the box, and it works
Right.
for that until I need to get into like real studio or whatever. But I make so many beats and songs just in this little space right
Oh,
here.
right. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
man. I plug in and play, man.
Right.
You don't really need much anymore, man.
No.
And you hear about all these records that are huge and they're just like, oh yeah, I just made that in my bedroom. Like,
Right.
cool. I love that. I dig that.
Nice, man. Nice, man.
Yeah.
You have any bases near you, like to show off, or?
Yeah. Hold
Yeah.
on. All right.
Oh, man.
So this is one that I use quite often for recording. And this is Music Man Stingray Special HH 5.
Ooh.
And this thing has I don't have a cable with me, but
Right.
but this thing sounds phenomenal.
Man. Man.
It has a very unique mid range that really allows you to poke through the mix. So it's great.
Right. And like the pickups on that, is that the standard that's on those, or did you
No, yeah, that's what comes from Music Man,
okay, all right.
the humbuckers.
You're right,
So
yeah. Because I know like some people, they change the pickups like immediately or whatever, so
it depends on its preference and
right.
what people use and but for me, they work really well. I
Damn.
mean, I can plug in and I can tear some heads off. So
Right.
it's good. That's what I'm looking for.
Dude, that's sick though, man. I mean, it is very noticeable on, like, of course, like I'm saying, like on your Instagram,
Thank you, man.
just mean tones. I
Yeah,
love them, man.
I try to get creative in with my parts and sounds and all those Instagram things, with the exception of a few things, are all original. That's all stuff that I've written.
Right? Oh man.
Little parts of songs or so. So when I'm doing all that stuff, it's just me really sitting down and writing or vibing, and it's kind of spontaneous. So it's
Right.
good. Yeah. But
Man.
going back to the dirt, I try to get like I try to create a unique voice for myself,
Mhm.
and whether or not that is useful for anyone else or different specific projects is, I guess it doesn't really matter for what I'm doing in the
Right.
moment. You know what I mean? But yeah. So
Man.
I have some fun, man.
Dude, that's killer. You do all the drum parts, like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that music.
yeah.
Dude, what are you using for drums doing that?
I will sample some stuff from I've used Splice, I've used Superior Drums,
Yeah.
I've used uh what else do I use? Uh I think I used Easy Drummer before, but
Right.
just having different, samples, and then just me playing them on pads and stuff like that too.
Dude,
so
that's sick though, man. You know, I think it's really sick.
Thank you,
know,
man.
so
I appreciate
mean, I appreciate it. You know, like I say, man, he's playing drums on this thing. But hey, you're doing it.
Yeah, no,
that's great,
and I do use loops occasionally too, and just cut them up and throw them on there too, because some of those things are killer, and it's inspiring, you know.
Yeah, man. I just love you, you know, this, you know, like just making those faces too, man. You know, like this is some faces, dude. You know, so
yeah, I guess I can't help it. I don't know. I
no,
don't
that's
even
good.
I don't even notice it.
keep doing it, dude, man. I think I love it, man. You know, so you know, that's just absolutely wonderful. Going back to like touring when you're, I just had another question. You know, like when you're touring.
Yep.
And I ask other musicians this too, you know, especially when they have a family. Is it hard for you? And I know for me, is it hard for you to leave?
Oh, family?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I've taken so much time off.
Yeah.
I couldn't take my kids to their baseball games, and you know, it's a double-edged sword. You go out there and you're living your dream and you're making a living and you're doing what you want to do, then you know, real life is at home.
Yeah.
So it's a struggle, but thank God for FaceTime, and thank God, you know, sometimes you can bring the fam out and they get to hang, and that's always good too when they're not in school or whatever, whenever that's possible. So you make it work, man, and you have to have an understanding support in your family circle, because it's not for everybody.
No,
you know,
it's definitely not. It's definitely not, man.
Yeah.
You know, like being, you know, a husband, you know, like it's definitely tough, you know, and you know, explaining things to them, and this is how this works, and you know, I'm sure you've gone through that, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
It's leaving, you know, the kids, just for the kids, it's like that's just what dad does, so they're used to it now. But there were times, you know, when they were little, and then you go for 3 months or whatever and come back and they're just a different person.
oh my gosh, yeah,
it's like,
dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I totally get that, because man, I went through that myself, and we had a, you know, long time ago, what, like 11 years ago or whatever, you know, but we just had a baby, and you know, and I came back, you know, after 3 months or whatever, and noticed him in the crib. I'm like, Dad, you're huge, you know. So it's just like, I don't even know if I know this kid anymore, you know. So
Yeah, no, I get it. But it's, you know, it could be worse, right?
yeah, it could be, you know, but I totally get that, man, you know, or where you're coming from, you know, and it's, you do have to have a strong family understanding, the family understand what you do and what you bring to the table. So man, I get you on that. But also one more question. Is there anything that you want to tell the people that, you know, like what you want people to know, or
Just come follow me on Instagram, because that's where I do most of my announcing if anything's coming up, and check out some of my stuff, and look forward to seeing you when I finally get back out on tour.
There you go. There you go. Mr. Josh Paul, everyone.
I appreciate you, man.
Man, dude, thank you so much for doing this, man. I'm hoping, you know, to one day, you know, just to hear, you know, like your stuff finally, of your own stuff, because I want to hear that, you know, me personally, because you got some mean stuff, man, and I just want to hear it, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And we got a jam at some point.
I'm up for it, man. If we can do that, and of course I know everybody has, you know, like it takes time, like to
Yeah.
get together. And definitely, I would love to do that, man. That'd be cool.
Cool. I
All
look
right.
forward to it. All right, man.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, eRecordStudio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their e-record sessions on social media. Visit ERS on eRecordStudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Visit us on www.talkmusiccommunity.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download our podcast on Apple, Google, Amazon, and Spotify.